Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of On Point EDC. Today we have a really cool kind of review for you guys. A new product from Zebra Pens. Now, of course, if you're a fan of the channel, whether you follow me on Instagram or are a subscriber to my YouTube channel, as you can see that I have here, the old trusty F-701 from Zebra. That is really a staple of mine at my desk, and even on my personal carry, which I always will usually have tucked in notebook. Although I do go through quite a rotation. Typically, this Zebra finds itself with me because it's all steel. It's very cheap, and if I lose it or it gets stolen, somebody borrows it, doesn't want to give it back or something like that, I'm not really too concerned about it. Now, one of the nice things is they've actually released a really great option that gives you kind of a premium feel that you get with that F-701. But you're actually going to get a lot better performance from like a writing perspective. The basically that all steel Zebra is really nice and it's great to carry. It can even be, a weapon of opportunity or a tactical pen on a budget if you really need it to be, just because of the construction on it. But as far as performance goes as a writing tool, it definitely could be a lot better. It's very simple, kind of ballpoint layout versus here you have, of course, gel, and then there's also pencil options, which aren't going to vary too different from the actual all metal Zebra mechanical pencil. But yeah, I figured it was worth it to kind of show you guys both options, show you kind of how they work, and let you know that they're actually pretty much the same price, but you're actually getting some bonuses when you buy these because you're getting a lot of extras as far as the refills go. So with all that said, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Okay, now before we get too far into the review, quick wristwatch check. If you guys are fans of the channel, you know that I mainly do watch reviews, and today I'll be wearing this Seiko Mini Turtle. And one of the reasons why I thought it might be a good pairing here is because this is actually, of course, Seiko's made the Turtle line of watches for a very, very long time, and this is kind of an updated iteration, and it definitely adds a nice pop of color compared to some of the old school Turtles of the past. So that were a lot more monochromatic, for example, kind of like this bad boy here, which is an outstanding pen. I still carry it all the time. I have one at my desk at work, that's pretty much always there, and then I tend to also carry these on my person if I'm carrying a notebook or something, and I do quite a little bit of a rotation with some pretty expensive kind of higher end EDC pens. But the nice thing about this is it's cheap enough to where pretty much if you lose it or somebody borrows it and doesn't want to give it back to you or something like that, you're not going to be too upset about it because these are $4 or $5 a pop essentially, so you're not too worried about it. The nice thing is these guys are actually still similarly priced, except they're actually packing some nice options here. You can actually see the three color options is you're going to be having the red, the black, and the blue. And then essentially, like for the pens wise, these are actually all going to come equipped with the black ink, and then you're going to actually get a free blue and a free red refill, which is great. And then you'll either have a pack that will be 2 reds or 2 blacks, 2 blues. I figured I'd leave the blues inside here, and basically these are gel pens, so they're a little bit more advanced than your typical ballpoint, especially with how kind of rudimentary this pen is. It's a great pen, don't get me wrong. As a writing utensil though, it definitely could be better. I think it's really great as kind of a personal carry option, but as far as writing goes, it definitely could be better. Here we have, of course, this great mechanical pencil, which the performance on a mechanical pencil is not really going to vary too far between kind of different as far as different generations, as far as like the writing quality of the metal pencil variant of this one versus this, the performance isn't going to be too much different, but the ergonomics are definitely a lot different, which is where you get to really enjoy this great modern grip here with the rubber. You still do have the metal barrel, so it has a very premium feel to it. And then as you can see, pop this guy off here, you also get an eraser, and then of course you get the eraser refills in here, and then essentially when you want to use it, you just click it once, click it twice, click it back in. All right, so as far as the writing experience, it's going to be, you know, obviously not that much of a difference because it's going to ultimately probably be using the same lead refill. The real difference that I wanted to kind of show you guys was when it comes to gel pen versus the ballpoint. And one thing that I always switch out with these F-701s is actually switch the tips to the more bold versus, I believe it comes with a pretty fine tipped medium out of the box, and you know, with good reason, some people are into that, but for me it feels less sharp and a little bit smoother. It's kind of a way to like cheat the system by actually switching to a bolder tip. As you can see, look at that tip versus this tip. Definitely big difference. And the crazy thing is, though, even though there's that difference in tip, the actual smoothness, ooh man, the click on that is really, ooh, this one definitely feels a lot more solid click. And this is a bank vault, you know, as far as the clicks on here feel really great, super smooth. But I gotta say, this one definitely has some nicer spring tension in there, which is going to give you a lot more of a premium feel. And then, of course, just in general, this is going to be nicer for long-term use because it's going to have that rubberized grip. Versus here, the knurling is nice, but it can probably wear your hand out after a while. But the nice thing is, you're out in the rain, you're out on site, this thing is always going to be there for you. But as far as at your desk, though, this is definitely going to be a much more pleasurable writing experience. And one thing to kind of illustrate that is I'm going to take a piece of paper here and just kind of show you guys how these pens render when they're writing, you know, the same thing. So okay. All right, so what you guys can't tell through the camera is that the gel pen was obviously much smoother. The ergonomics felt a little bit nicer in hand and whatnot, softer touch points, yada, yada, yada. But one thing you will be able to see by looking at here is just look at, essentially, you can see the way this is writing, how less consistent you're getting there with the breaks. You can see some wobbles, essentially, where it's just not evenly coating. So as you're writing, there's just basically these voids, as you can see, versus here on the gel side, much more consistent, really beautiful as far as the saturation goes, the consistency of the line weight all the way through. So of course I don't have the greatest you know, handwriting, but I think that's a really good way to kind of illustrate the differences. And then one of the nice things also is, though it's gel, it actually has a quick dry feature. So if I was to do this again and just swipe across, you can see no smudge. Let's do the same here. Smudge city, guys. Look at that. So you got the quick dry, so you're also getting a performance jump from that standpoint. You know, of course, yes, this is the thicker one, you know, the bolder tip, so it's putting down more ink. But the crazy thing is, so I guess, I mean, maybe if it was apples to apples, I'd use the other finer, more medium point. But you can see here that it's smudgy. You know, it's real easy to smudge. And then again, if you take a close look at just the voids within the lines there, just the spacing and the kind of the empty spaces, it doesn't really give you a very premium feel. Really, it gives you a premium feel in that, yes, it's metal, it's steel, it's solid. If you need to take it to somebody's eyeball in an absolute emergency, you could, right? But the thing is, as far as a writing utensil, there's plenty of pens that just really outshine this particular model. I love it, don't get me wrong, and I don't necessarily need to have like super high performance pens, but I mean, you might be totally fine with this and have been fine with it forever, but once you get a taste of this though, I gotta say, I was very, very impressed, guys. I mean, just everything just feels, obviously, again, I'm a lefty. I know what it's like to smudge stuff while I write, so it's one of those things. To not worry about the smudge factor is huge for me. Also, I don't always have to pocket pens. So the clip, although, I think that's probably the one, although this is obviously has more material, so it's probably more robust. I feel like this design is just so clean. If you have to put that in your shirt pocket, it's not going to be a big deal at all. Same thing here, probably won't be a big deal, but I do feel like aesthetically that's going to be more pleasing. It would be really cool if they actually did like a brushed metal barrel here. They call it a metal barrel, but they don't really say, what the actual material is, if it's steel, if it's brass or whatever. But man, this thing has such great clicks. It would be pretty cool to kind of see something like this with this type of form factor. I think that'd be really awesome. But of course, you don't want to cannibalize, your business. This definitely has its place as being the more rugged option, where here you're going to have just a really nice kind of office option, but also, not afraid to take with you out a notebook, especially when you have that quick dry technology. If you guys want to just pause this and take a closer look here, no biggie. But I was really impressed by these pens. Obviously, I typically don't get too far into the pen game when I do the reviews. It's more about kind of the form factor and the carry, because performance wise, there's so many options as far as refills go for pens. But the nice thing is Zebra's always been a leader in that affordable, and kind of in that affordable side of the market. So you're really getting a lot of bang per buck. And of course, this would be my choice probably for the one that I would carry, because being black, it's just, a little bit more low key than something like a red. But this red is hot though. Don't get me wrong. This thing looks pretty sweet. Definitely would look great. This would be great to have inside of your glove box, next to your insurance and registration and everything, if you ever need to whip out a pen and be a nice one. Of course, this is the pencil, but just as just to mention, like the red, my car's red, so it would be pretty cool to just whip this bad boy out if I ever needed to. But I'm digging this, and then this blue slate looks really great as well. And then you're getting the extra refills. Of course, my military background, black ink is definitely all that belongs. When we never really use blue, or blue's a secondary, all else fails, and red's pretty much never. But from a pencil standpoint, I mean, this was really great. This really, if you like to draw or something like that, if you're into any type of drafting, this is a really nice, comfortable piece that you could use really on a day-to-day basis. And again, the nice thing is, because of the cost, only like $11. Check the links in the description below for Amazon. You guys can get these things, delivered, with your Prime delivery, 2-day delivery or less, essentially for $11. And you're getting 2 units plus 2 refills for erasers, plus a bunch of actual lead, and then these obviously come with lead inside as well. I wonder how many came from here out of the box. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So 3 already inside. So you got 1, 2 here, back up, and then you have, of course, the one that's already inside the shaft. So you're getting a lot of value for money from my standpoint. Not everything needs to be crazy $100 writing utensil. I think these are really great examples of just very simple and to the point pieces that you can use with comfort, also with confidence, because of course, you know, Zebra pens and pencils, they've been around for a really long time. They make quality products. If you guys are a fan of my Instagram, you've seen this piece staged next to really expensive knives and flashlights and watches and whatnot, mechanical watches. So you know that they have the build quality there. It's really, you know, for my eye though, the thing that was the big game changer here was the performance edition by getting that gel. So with that said, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, please do hit like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.